Let's do something crazy, get a bit wild today, cause we don't do this every day and we deserve it. Life is so amazing, nothing is in our way. Baby, let's fly away. Do you feel it? Is your heart rushing the way my heart's rushing when you take it all in? Baby, this is where we come alive. Do you feel it? Take the world by storm, just you and I. Can't believe it took so long to realize what makes us come alive. Oh, what makes us come alive? Let's break some rules. No, we don't always have to be good. Don't always have to do things that we should. We'll feed the fire. Let's see it through and let go of what's holding us back. Just light it up and we'll burn through the past and take it higher. Is your heart rushing the way my heart's rushing when you take it all in? Baby, this is where we come alive. Do you feel it? Take the world by storm, just you and I. You and I. Can't believe it took so long to realize. This is where we come alive. Do you feel it? Take the world by storm, just you and I. Can't believe it took so long to realize what makes us. G2Esports!
Can't be called a newcomer. We've been up for several summers, seeking how to step in commerce. If you with us, buy the bundle. Say you survive the bundle. Barely time to buy the bundle for this ton of errors rumble. Cause you know we titans in this game, ain't no contest. If we take it to the game, turn a wild west. We ain't faking what I claim, it's a wild threat. No rook, we been a vet. Now check the mindset, by the name of G2. How to take over the world, how we come through. Just follow in the herd, we don't have to. Best forget about what you heard, probably ain't true. This ain't go-to, cause you know it's game. How to take over the world, how we come through. Just follow in the herd, we don't have to. Best forget about what you heard, probably ain't true. This ain't go-to, cause you know it's
Valendo a viga, a vida e a vaga nos playoffs. Faz barulho pra Loud!
A spot in the playoffs is up for grabs here. Whoever walks away with the dub is going to see their season continue. And whoever loses here today is going to have to wait a little bit longer to get back on that stage. The pressure is on for both Loud and G2.
It's the reigning America's champions in the first stage of 2024, facing elimination in groups. Top four in Masters Madrid. And if they don't win here, the chances of going to Shanghai are 0. On the other side for G2, though, I mean, these guys coming up from Ascension had a okay start to their season, but have slowly picked it up through stage 1 and have a chance in their debut to make playoffs.
Yeah, it's such an even matchup, in my opinion, because both teams have the same problem going into these matches. It's always been, okay, QCK, he's not performing at the same level as Ospas. Same thing with Icy, he's not performing like even Leaf did on his own team, right? So this is something that's gonna be crucial in this matchup. Which duelist is gonna shine?
And we saw the maps come up there a moment ago. We're starting on Bind, then heading to Icebox. And that's kind of surprising to me because these are both the maps that G2 have been playing constantly. It's what they won 2-0 on in their last series. I've actually liked them on both these maps.
Yeah, and G2 were trolling a little bit in the beginning of the year. I don't want to say trolling, but they're experimenting, I should say, with weird comps. They were running a Yoru KO comp with a fade on bind. Recently in their last match, yeah, it wasn't against the strongest opponent, but they switched back to Icy on Rays and the Gecko in the sky. And if they keep bringing that to this match, I mean, it's a really good map, and historically has been a good map for G2.
One thing I've liked about Loud's bind is this kind of comp that they're playing with the KO and the Breach. Most teams have gone for like the double initiator with the Gecko.
Yeah.
But I actually like a lot of the ideas you can get with that Breach. There's a ton of setups and trap plays off of that stun. And you also gain the cross-map info of having that KO knife. I think KO is massively underrated on this map.
Yeah, it's also just really hard to make the KO work, and that's why it's not that popular. Yeah. But when it comes to a team like
Loud,
Loud,
just implement it so well.
Exactly. When it comes to a team like Loud, who actually drill their systems, their defaults, they make it look really good. So yeah, it's something to definitely look out for if you're G2. But when you play a Breach on weird, wacky maps like this, where it's not common, sometimes it can be a dead giveaway of what your setups are. So if G2 prepare really well for this, they might have an inkling or some ideas of where these trap setups like to come, and maybe they can bait them out.
All right, here's the agent select, and you guys called for that Breach. It is going to be coming through here, as well as the KO, so you're getting that for Loud. But yeah, G2, they're going to be prepared, they should be prepared.
The prep, the eye-gelling, that's all important. But I think the big thing most people are going to be focusing on in this map is QCK and Icy. Both these guys started off their year, started off their stage underperforming, and have shown us some good moments. The last match for QCK was good. Icy had some better performances, but the big question is who steps up today when playoffs is on the line.
Yeah, and I think if you just go from experience, you would probably say that QCK is that guy that will outshine Icy here. But this is a big moment for Icy to prove why he was brought onto this G2 roster.
Well, it's now time to figure it all out. This match is going to decide the fate of our 4 teams. Let's find out which timeline we're in and send it over to your casters for this one. It's Uber and Wyatt.
Thank you very much, GB. And what a way to close out a stage. It is a match laden with playoff implications. But there's a good chance that these two teams are also in the back of their minds while thinking about an international event. They're thinking about Shanghai, but for very different reasons, I suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. For Loud, this would be the first time since the inception of the team that they would not make an international event. They are on the cusp of that, which is so hard to believe when you're looking at the tenured IGL of Sodhawk, less a player that is always in the conversation as minimum a top 5 player in the world. Plenty of people would argue at various times he's been the best player in the world. And for G2, it's been a long time since they've been to an international event, all the way back to Reykjavik 2 years ago, where they were the young upcoming team. And now they have a chance to finally make it back, find some redemption from what was a failed attempt all the way back then.
So for G2, 14 rounds. That's what they're looking for here. They've leveled up, though, of course. It's Icy already in the showers, and the play off the flash is perfect. Trent's there with a 1-2 punch. Loud now just down to the 2 of them. They're going to make this adjustment over towards B, where Leaf lies in wait.
What a great pinch immediately from G2, and it's now Leaf to fend off these last 2 players on the site. Sodhawk is going to catch him, but now into that 1-on-3. Has recovered a Ghost. Gonna have to hit a few headshots here. Trent and Icy are relatively low, and Valen with no armor, 1 headshot could take him down, but of course, this would be a miracle from him early on.
They got Util though. Dizzy out first. Paint shell's also available, but not necessary. It's brass tacks for Valen. The Starduck takes 1 to the dome.
And one crucial element of that round is G2 immediately going for the crunch outside of Shower. That's going to weigh in the back of Loud's mind for the rest of this half, that could be pulled out again at any moment. So immediately, aside from just winning this round, obviously the big advantage of getting the pistol, they've immediately planted that seed in Loud's head that they're going to have to be weary of a play like this coming later.
The conditioning has already begun. Nice timing there, of course, through the TP, and a clean finish for G2. Loud, of course, mentioned that this team's developed a lot. I think we're going to be looking at Icy and continuing to follow his development, how he fits into the structure of this G2 roster. It's a great start, though, and he's got himself an outlaw.
And that outlaw could be quite pivotal moving forward here. Jonah P takes a lot of damage. 3 players facing up B long, and they want to accelerate off of that, but Leaf gets the first here.
Trailblazer does spot some action here. This will slow up Loud, and G2 might look to capitalize. Kawanzine already down. Now it's to a snake bite, of all things. Is he trying to get into hookah?
I got you.
For Loud now, already little to work with. QCK working his way all the way up to an outlaw here. He needs to try and find some value there, and Leaf managing to hold on against less.
QCK just gonna throw that one off the map, which honestly, pretty solid idea because two of his teammates did buy up sheriffs, so they would be in a poor economic position on this next round had they had the outlaw, given that if you have light armor, it's that one-shot kill, right? And so Loud could have found themselves in a situation where they would have had to forego some utility to get that full armor so they don't go down to the outlaw. So that's essentially why he did that. If you're, questioning why he opted to throw that off the map instead of getting some kills. And we'll see what they're going to be able to buy up now. Tons of SMGs in the hands of G2, the Stingers, which can be annoying to deal with in the little cubbies on this map. If they go for maybe a stack of a couple players playing a Crossfire and Hookah where the short-range guns thrive, that could be one way where they try to take advantage of this to win a bonus.
On the armor side of things, only Tui's who's only able to afford the half. Loud here for the most part, though, are geared to the gills. Again, looking towards B long. It's a really fertile ground to make use of that fault line. Knife here. Again, Loud, one of the few teams really leaning into that KO there. Spot nothing from that knife on Hookah.
Yeah, it was that early knife that gets back Hookah and Octagon as well. They now cut noise and are just contacting up Kawanzine with a great first kill. And now G2, they've responded by putting two players into Hookah, which I really like, trying to gain control of that side of the map. And hoping as well that if this split did come in onto B, those two players would be able to face that one lurk. Maybe two players going that way, but that isn't going to end up being the case. Actually goes down, trying to peek for a bit of information, and that was on Loud's rotate back to A.
Tough to make that Stinger sing at that kind of range. So Sadak spots at least one of the players that was sent into Hookah after that first pick was found by Loud. Now, though, it looks like they want to land on A. Icy trending back towards the side here is the flash. Forced back behind the smoke. There's Kawanzine waiting for it. So Icy and Valen to work with here. Pretty inauspicious bonus round from G2. Happy to let this one go, though, if needs must. Now Valen in the smoke, very common. Cryo loves this particular play, for example. Will burst out and QCK silences him awfully quickly. Loud get on the board without too much of a fuss.
And a small little thing of note there, we saw Kawanzine watching the flank back from Market where he picked off whichever second player that was that had pushed all the way down from Hookah, because neither team right now are running a Sentinel on Bind. And it's not too common these days. Sometimes you'll see the Cypher, like Moose likes to play that, which I actually did against Loud the last time they played Bind. But playing Bind here and Icebox next, Loud aren't going to suffer from their lack of desire to play Sentinel that often can rear its head where they forego the Cypher in a meta where he's very strong. And it's just going to be about them watching the flanks like Kawanzine just did in that situation there.
Not like a breeze that might expose that a little bit more egregiously. Loud here on the group up towards A short. Standard Viper util deployed. Flashpoint as well to get them on the road. QCK now satcheling over towards the site, goes over the top there, back U-Haul. Valen brought down. Nice little opening here from Loud. QCK brimming with confidence. Even when not playing well, he's always going in. Trento finds a tight angle. And the plant interrupted for the time being here. Loud have to now find another option to get this one down. Guiding light from Jonah here to lead them out onto the site. Trent doubled up, and Icy also still playing from showers. That's somewhere that Loud have not cleared. It may rear its head in just a moment. Dizzy in, Sadak out, but the fire back from Loud is impressive. Just Leaf to work with now. It's a pretty darn good breeze to blow him into the right spot here. Down to 56 in a 1v3. And Let's will be waiting on that line to clean him up.
And just then, G2, you kind of have to question it. They were set up to go for that flood back into the front of A site. A bit of a, the pre-take if the spike was going down. But they didn't wait for that moment where someone was actually trying to plant. They forced the issue pretty early, so they ended up running into all of the players with their guns out. No one in that awkward forward default position trying to plant. So perhaps a little bit rushed. You could see what they wanted to do, but that timing just didn't really work out for it, and now they're relegated to this save. A few sheriffs, a couple stingers, and again, a pretty similar opening here for Loud. They really like doing this fast play up into B long with that stim beacon to get them the speed to get there.
And it can overload as well, that B long in terms of raw firepower. But Loud opt to pull out of that one. Smoke came down from G2 as they are very heavily stacked in the front side of that B side. Not that Loud are aware. This is ultimately going to lead them in ostensibly the correct direction.
And last time they exploded out of short quite quickly, and it looks like they're going to do the same here. QCK satcheling in, but this time they're not going to overpush, go into backside as they did on the last where QCK got that entry. They're just going to place those safe smokes at both sides of triple to get this plant in on default. They have the gun advantage. No need to play forward, take any unnecessary risks here.
Play lineup, Larry. No need to expose yourself to these short-range weapons in their optimal quarters. Smoke that came down basically on top of the A side here. Cullen's will be forced out by the mosh pit. He acquiesces back in straight away. No, the Dizzy might make that a bit of an issue though. Sardak forced off the line. Another flash there for G2 as they try and set something up here inside of U-Haul. Cullen's though is going to mow him down. Talon comes to the party a little bit too late. That's Loud with 3 on the trot.
And all of those kills from Loud, very important for the ult economy on their side right now. QCK was 1 away. He got his. Cowanzine 1 or 2 away, was able to get his as well. Sadhawk with the rolling thunder off that. And now they can just carry that momentum into this round. Leaf does have the Viper's Pit to play around if they intend on using that at a early part of the round. Oftentimes you'll see it over towards A. That's a more typical spot for it on short. Maybe sometimes to cut off shower, but short's certainly the most frequent. But heading in here, they've got 4 players stacked up to B right now, G2, including Leaf, the man with that pit. Perhaps thinking about using it to shut down Hookah. We'll just have to see here. As it's Icy, the lone man on A, and he got spotted out by that KO knife, and he's just trying to keep that shower control while the rest of the team are set up here on B, expecting when that presence come to, if it did come rather, to have that Dizzy go over top, have the Sky pop a flash perhaps as well, but all for naught. It's an AX again from Loud, 3 in a row.
Icy here in showers, posted up there, but around run into less. Okay, QCK pops his head in. Tiles and masonry flying everywhere as the show shopper found its mark. Fallon, nice little pop there out of TP, but Tui's was there to trade. Into the back of the site, you'll notice QCK has gotten himself to Trent's going to use showers as a staging ground to unleash Thrash. QCK almost ahead of it, but going to get caught out. There's no one there to really follow it up though, as Trent is crossing the site, but nowhere near close enough. Oh! Rolling Thunder interrupted. Sadak had no opportunity to let go of that one, and Leaf is going to win out against Tui's. QCK, nothing to do here. Hold up in heaven. G2 get the defuse.
Really nice job from G2 to just force those Loud players into awkward positions where they couldn't help each other at all. I mean, even if that Thrash hadn't hit QCK, he was so far away from the action at that point, rotating to heaven. Wouldn't have really had a great angle. Maybe he could have fought those guys coming out of shower, but regardless, well done from Trent to have that idea that he might have been rotating there into backside and getting that really crucial stun. And even more crucial than that, all the ults depleted from Loud. All 3 of them used into that round for naught.
Viper's Pit here towards B long. So Loud do opt to take that early challenge, but won't find any challengers. QCK walks straight into that one, and Leaf is ready with his feet planted.
And that's a massive risk to push into a Viper's Pit like that.
That's QCK for you.
Yeah, but I mean, frankly, it's, I think, extremely tough when you don't have a Sky, you don't have the dog to go in there, you don't have a Gecko. Could use a wingman in a situation like that. Some of the teams that are running Fade, you'll have a Prowler for a situation like that. And with this Loud comp, getting through a Viper's Pit is just not gonna be easy. Sadhawk at least able to get 1 back, though.
Not bad. Something to work with here for Loud, at least. The Trent has the timing. Cowanzine is revealed by that little swing. And now we see the remainder of Loud split up. Tui's slowly making his way into Hookah now. And Sadak reposting up on the position that he knows G2 feel like they've just cleared. Often likes to do this.
30 seconds left.
Venom will give him an option, but far too good on the trigger finger.
Strike down A.
Tui's here, gonna think better of it. Time to pull the plug.
That last second orb going to be recovered there from Trent, just trying to get every little advantage that they possibly can.
It's going to be a quick thrash.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, that is one of the bonuses of having Gecko on your team, having the wingman. You're getting the plants, you're getting the diffuses. You can just stack orbs so quickly on that agent. G2E's is one off that Brimstone ultimate. Was waiting to see if maybe he was able to take an engagement, and whether he lived or died, he would have been able to have that one up into this round. I mean, we all know how powerful that ultimate is in tandem with his Molotov on this map. When you're playing in a post plant, that's basically your redeem a free round card when you use that on either side.
You guys are like all talking over one another.
Okay. Trouble in paradise, mayhaps. G2 here, a little bit chatty. But again, able to find those 2 rounds in a row. Not fully able to break the economy yet of Loud. Still a little haphazard, maybe. They're still essentially fighting at full strength.
And that flash sent in to be Fountain to get some information. Not always used as much as it used to be, given you're actually just straight up losing that flash. Now, Dog as well. So some utility extracted here. Significant utility extracted from Jonah P early on. And Loud didn't make as much noise on B that time, which is why he used it on all the previous ones. They were stim beaconing, running up long super fast. And because they didn't do that this time, he felt the need to actually gain some information. This push out from G2 on the opposite side of the map is really nice. And now you can see as well, Valorant, he's rotating through spawn. So they're going to have 3 players ready on B. He's got the ultimate as well.
There's a late reflank brewing for G2. All right. Aftershock trying to create a bit of space here, and in come Loud. QCK posting up on top of the shack. Jonah is going to wait inside this smoke. Playing just outside of elbow. Orbital strikes. Both thrown down here, pummeling the ground and nothing else. Here's a ticket from Sardak, not a stick. Fault line towards elbow.
Great
Timing is
stun.
great with the smoke coming down.
Wow.
Sardak is able to capitalize there. Now things look a little bit awkward for G2. All of a sudden, Let's ready to receive this reflank. Is going to be at least good for one here. But by no less, often it's more, not this time. Icy gets a foothold at the very least, but Valen calls a cancel.
Just going to save these weapons at this point. What a stun. So cerebral from Sadhak in that moment, understanding when their smoke was going to drop. They even had another one coming down to cover up elbow again. That was such a little nice micro play. Yeah, absolutely beautiful from them. So heads up. It's going to get them their fourth on the board now. Players very far away from ultimates on their side. Les had the pit up, didn't feel the need to use it in that situation. He was in that nice position in hookah, so they'll be carrying that one over to the next. And at this point, both teams, no one really scared about the status of the economy, so we're going to have multiple full gun rounds back to back to back here. And look at that. I mean, again, just so intelligent from Sadhak, the tenured IGL, the world champion IGL.
For those keeping track at home, and here, G2 obviously a third of the way to that threshold at magic number 12. They would need to exceed in total round count, even in a 2-0 loss to get themselves into playoffs. They need 14 to guarantee it. So well and truly on the way. This has been a competitive half of Bind so far. This time again, Loud do show up on B long. Orb comes down, and they're ready for it. The flash out, Valen follows it up. And now they'll fall back behind the wall here, but maybe leave a piece or two set up an octagon. Both flash initiators here. Jonah will dodge to clear. Loud hear it come down, and they don't opt to refill that space again.
No, those players on A were just so passive that the duo of Kawanzin and Les were able to just contact up, get a lot of space now, get into this site. Kawanzin has taken a really deep position here, back site.
So much util for the post plant for that KO. Didn't have to spend it getting in.
I'm waiting to see if anyone will be able to help him. Alright, he does back up into lamps, a bit safer, unless he's gonna put that pit down crucially.
And it comes down, Les unleashes it. Sanak here just waiting for the double swing out from Showers. Here comes Icy at the same time. Can they make a pincer happen? Nothing to see here with the showstopper, but still plenty of time to work with it. Les receives Leaf. He's trying to wrap around. Molly to the side now, already Loud with the post-plant architecture being set up. 3 versus 3, but it's time for Thresh to make an appearance. Cowanzine gets there, Icy out of the picture. We did have a connection off that Thresh. Jonah P can't get up any further, and now it's Trent. 1 HP to work with. It's not nearly enough.
And I like how G2 were playing that. At this point, late in the half, they have such an understanding of what to do to nullify this default from Loud, where they're triple pushing up long early off that Stim Beacon. This was a great trap setup. Look at the swings from them, and they have that Sky Flash going at the same time the Dizzy ascends into the skies behind in elbow. And then you could see, because of that, the players on A, they're like, hands off, we're gonna play full retake. We have the advantage.
With the mollies.
But Loud just play it perfectly around the Viper's pit. Crucially, Lessa carried that over into this round from the last, where he didn't feel it was necessary to pop before. And now it gets them a really big round win. And G2, they're in a little bit of an awkward economical spot here. They're still going to be able to carry over a couple rifles into this round, but they're not going to be able to get up a full buy until the following.
It really only occurred as a soundbite in the background, but Thresh was used there. I think it just caught onto Cowanzine inside U-Haul, and there was no ability to chase that up at all. Things started to fall apart. Josh RT rattling off some directives here for G2, who've lost the last couple of rounds in a row and don't have any ultimates to work with here. This might even be a plan for further down the line. Loud already putting on a show for us here, winning 5 out of the last 7 rounds after dropping the pistol. They're back and they mean business.
Josh RT, the experienced coach who joined this squad last year, was crucial in bringing them all the way to Ascension, winning it, qualifying for the Partnership League. And we'll see now how G2 opt to play around this kind of early default that Loud have. Though there's a different layer in it now. Typically, Cowanzine was playing towards A, knifing Shower, but he's actually grouped up with the other 3 players here. We'll see if that means that they just want to go into a full hit with Sadak being 1 away from the orb. He could get it here, pop that ultimate, and they can explode into the site off of it.
Playing fast ahead of a potential trap play, potentially. They, of course, have the ability to set up their own! Sadak!
Any help?
Crouch, tying his bloody shoelaces! But still Loud had the firepower and the weaponry to fight back. Could have been awkward, but G2 still gets staved off now. And Valorant has to think twice about really challenging this. Icy bounds through, but Bambi gets cut down as Les is waiting.
For a moment there, I was nervous of the no help moment, but luckily the re-swings came just in time from Loud.
Just like we drew it up, baby.
And fortunately, G2, they also continue to fight in Octagon and take that space. I think they had an opportunity. If they just peeled off and went back in that situation, they might have been able to just escape with that full man advantage. And Loud again now. Another round. How many have they strung in a row? It feels like a whole bunch at this point.
This is their third, but it would be 6 out of the last 8.
They've really come alive on this half right now. Mixing in just small, little different pieces to how they're playing this default over on the B side.
Still that B pop, right?
Yeah, it was Cowanzine involved in the mix, where typically it was just the 3 players previously. So just these small different layers being called by Sodhawk at the moment.
Valorant gets his there, a bit of extra credits.
Ruin their day.
Maybe saving up to take Derek out to dinner for National Girlfriend Day.
It wouldn't be the first time.
It'd be the annual day.
It would be a testament to the bromance if he can take this down for EG with their hopes on the line here.
EG looking on, of course, want to see Loud lose this game to qualify for playoffs. That'll be the ultimate gift.
Their fate in the balance. Sen City's fate in the balance. And of course, Loud, their fate in their own hands right now. They need this victory.
Derek, I hope the stake was good, Valen, on Derek's dime. G2 here have a bit of ground to make up, though. Started well, but have lost control of this half of the last few rounds. This time Loud, another variation wide. No early aggression here towards B-Long, but they are maintaining a presence here.
Now just working back a bit later, and you can see again, when Jonah P doesn't hear anything, he's going to use that utility. And with it gone now, Loud using that breach ultimate to scale into the site quickly. QCK all the way in the back already. G2 relegated to getting into retake positions here, but QCK so aggressive, so much confidence from this man. It's what Loud have needed for weeks, and in the past 2, he's really stepped up for the squad.
Not just that element that's so hard to predict for any of Loud's opponents. That, though, looked a little bit more deterministic. Walking out the smoke, there was a molly at their feet.
One enemy remaining.
And G2 get burned to a crisp. Only Trent here. And Kawanzin wants to pursue. Blood in the water, and Trent's giving him nothing.
Crucial for Trent to save the gun at this
I
point.
can hear the crowd keep running.
I mean, the economy is just cracked at this point. Oh, and
The jig is up, my friend.
2E's heard those footsteps. Trent's on the angle, and he's gonna go down. Economy absolutely crushed for G2 heading into the next. And this is an elite Loud that we're watching right now against a G2 team that have impressed me so much this season. Thinking to back to the game against
Lev, right?
Lev, yeah, despite losing, they took that icebox map, and their play on Lotus was just fantastic from G2. But frankly, looking at this map pool, this map kind of feels like a must-win for Loud because we are headed to Icebox and Lotus next, G2's 2 best maps. So Loud do need this one on the board. Kawanzin's actually picked up the operator here because their egregious display of 1% wealth. He can just hold down showers with that for a bit.
Can afford healthcare in America, it's sick. It's crazy.
I wish.
We can dream, my friend. Kawanzin, though, opts to make a switch of weaponry. He will be ambling his way towards showers. Knife did catch on to Valen there. So he does know there is some architecture lying in wait. And straight down A short. Les has been able to find himself here. So G2 don't know yet where the action is expected to be. And you can see the trend across there for Leaf.
Loud right now rotating back towards A, and I like from G2 they put both of their B players in hookah because Jonah, no utility left. They don't know what's happening in long anymore, so they want to hold down that section of the map. But Loud at this point looks like they're going to be fully ignoring it, save for Sadhak, who might try to, you know, make a bit of a distraction perhaps with a utility, but seems to just be watching for the push out. And now this full execute is going to come in on the A side.
GCK dead, no double satchel, notably, doesn't get to the back of the site.
30
Wants to play in front of these smokes. Q's brought down. That's Leaf in heaven. Posing a little bit of an issue here for Loud. Sadhak, flashpoint. Oh, the little fake pick, and Les is going to be there to follow it up. Nice little two-piece there, the 1-2 punch for Loud. And here's that flank. May happen a little late. QCK doesn't have a good way to employ that showstopper, so that'll go for naught. Valen's able to repost up in heaven, but it's about Trent and Jonah here. Making the way down short. Kawanzin sends a flash up there, but Valen's good for 2. Now it's on QCK. They've got a good idea that he's there. And what a crucial round to win before the half for G2.
Super well done from Valen at the end there. Just found the perfect timing on that spray down. One of the best fragging IGLs that we have here in Americas at the moment. And frankly,
we've got a lot of them.
We do, and on the opposite end,
Switching
honestly, this has been a great individual season for Sadhak. I think he's stepped up on a number of crucial rounds for this team and maps where he's really displaying a higher level of mechanics than we've seen from him in the past. And of course, 2 of the best IGLs tactically here, going head-to-head as well.
And Sadhak was doing that, by the way, while also very involved on the coaching side. Like, he was frying before he sort of handed all that responsibility over, which is even more impressive. But there it is. We've got G2 finding their way back in. There are quite a few people interested in the result of this game, none more than perhaps EG. We're going to go down to Elizabeth with some very relevant individuals here in the outcome of this game.
Yes, and those relevant individuals are Derek, Giorgimo, and Foe of EG. You might think they're from G2 with the G2 merch that we are wearing, but no, they are from Evil Geniuses. We have Apoth and Nature waiting over there as well. We're going to talk to these 3 right now. We love you too. And they're also wearing G2 merch. They are a part of the team. I'm going to talk to you first. My favorite 6-foot king. Why do people laugh? When you're in a moment like this, when this is not in your hands, you have to literally sit here and watch this go down. Like, what is your anxiety level at right now?
It's worse than when I'm actually playing on the stage, but I have full confidence in my boys, you know, so.
Worse than playing on the stage. So like you just sitting here like talking in the chat, it's worse than you like having to like think about everything on stage.
Yeah, because I have no control of how the game goes, but I mean, like I said, I feel like they're just warming up into it, and I feel like they're gonna start rolling in some rounds.
All right, George, I'm gonna come to you. Obviously, this is your stream. We're talking to your lovely people. You've been talked about a lot. You know, Lev, Akam said, you know, you're the last on his list. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm ready for my boy Corbin. Like, me and him lived together all last year, so like, you know, we just had that bond together. So playing against each other on stage is a whole different aspect. But he knows how I am during like when I'm full focus, and yeah, my champ form is coming back, so get ready, Corbin.
All right, get ready, Corbin. And really quickly to you, Fo, as the assistant coach, you've had to watch these kids play and just play their hearts out. Now you are here with them, sitting with them, watching the game. What is your anxiety level like?
About the same as it is backstage watching them every game.
And what is that?
Very high.
Very high.
It's higher than playing. It is. Derek's not wrong. It's harder. You're just watching it unfold, and you have to say to yourself, okay, well, whatever happens, happens.
All right, well, we're going to do some breathing exercises. We have a game to get back to, so casters, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I'm quite sure these teams looking on and their fate being decided are feeling it. But now on to the teams that do have an impact on the outcome, Wyatt. We're heading into our second half here on Bayern with G2 moving to the attack.
And right now, I'm just looking at the buy here. Loud, they've got ghosts across the board. And I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to Sadhak here, how they're going to be playing around the breach on the defensive side. Because there's a big difference in the initiators on both sides. The G2 running the Sky and the Gecko, things can be so much more fluid. Whereas with the breach, you have to be in particular spots to hit your flashes. And often same with KO. Of course, you can right-click to push somewhere close, but a lot of times you're going to be playing pop flashes for people at different angles as well. So I'm expecting to see some quality setups here from the Loud side, and it's something I'm going to be paying a close eye on as we head onto their defensive half here.
Cohen's in, get a little bit antsy. Little check there. They're actually able to post up watching A short. Decent spot, and there's also the counter swing opportunity as Les takes some non-irrelevant damage, rather, up B long. But G2 still have eyes elsewhere. They don't have that showers control, but Twiz might be looking to concede it here if things don't go right. Snake bite. Oh, and Leaf wins it out. That is massive for G2. Leaf can move on in, but the rest of G2 are already off to the races now, moving down short. Sadhak beats a hasty retreat. Aftershock to cover his tracks. He's going to set up across the site now as Trent gets this plant going.
30 seconds
And at the same time, going to recover that Dizzy to have it for just a bit later on. Could be a crucial piece of utility to explode back in while those Loud players are tapping the spike, trying to get the defuse.
They are absolutely ready for this. QCK wants to step up. Does have some utility here to try and draw something out, but actually wants to drive face sleeve. And he falls quickly. Still 4 to deal with on G2 side. The wall comes down, the show starts. There's Les trying to make something happen, but he was always very low after that engagement at the start of the round, and G2 get that crucial pistol.
This G2 squad, they are undeniably great. I mean, it's a small moment, but they played to their win con there. They played nice and passive. It was Trent getting that Dizzy backup line, the wall drop with it coming over so they could face that man advantage trade out if they needed to. So nicely done from them. QCK with a nice shot. He has been playing well.
Let's go. Keep it up. Anti-eco, we know what to do.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely look like they know what to do. Solid round from G2 there. Loud want that showers control once more. This time, though, we brought back up. Leaf comes off second best.
Fortunately, this is for G2. That was just the player with the ghost, and that stun is going to come in. B-Long with the nade. What a great timing. Icy can't win that duel. Stunned up.
Oh, no chance to follow up, though. Sadhak full challenge that. Nobody could trade him. Same could be said for Les. At that point, QCK was on the wrong side of the wall, and Kalenzin's on the wrong side of that smoke. Forced now back in towards Tube.
Kalenzin has to be careful. He almost died to the dog.
QCK thinks about it. Come on! Look at your conscience, QCK! Punished for it. Had his back turned as Trent exploded. And now it's Tui set up in hookah. With 3 players, 2 Bulldogs and a Ghost to contend with. He has nothing but a molly to his name. You're gonna need that, buddy.
And really on this round, we got an appetizer of what's to come with this Loud comp on defense. One of the reasons you run that breach is because B-Long is really easy to control with the fault line. It gets all of long, as you just saw. So if you hit the right timing with that, and then additionally, maybe if you have a KO flash to come over, that raise nade we saw was really effective. There's going to be a lot of trap setups just like that from Loud. So G2 are going to have to be weary of walking into the traps, but also, importantly, for their attack site to succeed, baiting the traps out, getting the utility out, and then, you know, re-clearing those spaces if they intend to, or at least putting in awkward position for Loud where they're denying some information. They'd have to re-clear it themselves on defense.
Slow and steady, G2. Make their way over towards Hookah. They're very cognizant of the trap play potential that Breach presents. But a thrash here towards B Long might open this wide up. Stardock doesn't know where to look. Wesley gave him a clue, but he didn't have nearly enough time. Well, sometimes better to be lucky than good. But Les gets traded out by Icy, who finds his second, and they are all over this side like moss on a rock, Wyatt.
And Les feeling himself, wanted to go for a second as well. Could have slipped away into the smoke, but wanted to get the advantage for his team. And now it's resulted in a man disadvantage.
We are out of dodge.
They are getting out of there. The Thrash recovered as well. They know they really don't have a shot there. And that was a great response from G2. What a call from Valen, expecting a B-long trap setup like that. They used the Thrash to clear up there and just kind of focus their attention then on Hookah. If there was a trap setup, that Thrash would have pushed them back, and then they would have been swinging out of Hookah.
I mean, we saw from Sadhawk's POV.
And yeah, regardless of the trap setup not being there, Sadhawk was so caught off guard from that explosive hit from G2. Bonus round going to be converted, but again, at least for Loud's sake, they're going to have enough rifles into the next round, to get a reasonable buy up here. So it's not a pure bonus where you're giving all the guns away. G2's economy is going crazy because they recovered everything, though they did get a few rifles, but it's not as egregious as it could have been for Loud when you lose a bonus.
G2 are over halfway now to the 14-round threshold. See how this went down coming out of Hookah.
Sen is shaking right now. Let's keep it going.
These are tough times for the Sen City, Mitch. Tough times. G2 posted up now with many players outside Hookah again. They're not going to go with the speed they did previously. A flash up long to get some information into Octagon, which Jonah did here with that ping when the bird goes off. And we have just basically the same setup here, right? Dog is going to get the info on long, and then the push is going to come through Hookah.
Okay, still a forward line from cross map. But not really going to bother anyone. Icy is in. QCK affected here by a lot of the mollies, and is forced to play inside tube. It's easy for Icy. Sardak here. Flash, aftershock to try and create some space in Hookah, and he's done so. But G2 now entrenched up on this B site. 3 players back-to-back heading into elbow. They're going to overwhelm Les. He can't hope to challenge this. And G2 aren't done. They still want a piece of this action, and Les, well, unable to find any. 2 is though elsewhere. Doing some serious work here. Sardak still inside Hookah. 2 is coming through that spawn side. He's going to run straight into Trent's cross there, but the forward line is going to make it impossible. Setting up another for 2's. That 3, Icy can't hold on.
How do they recover that? Trent's spray just going awry. Most of the time, you have to think he's going to get 2 there. Such a skilled player, but
2's got 2 kills to elbow. He was back towards spawn. He's miles away. He actually trades up for less.
That is just ridiculous. Icy.
Look!
Oh, I mean, again, that's a situation where I don't know. It's like, do they need to be facing that? They want to get that trade out. It's understandable, but 2's too accurate. He's one of the players that is just so smooth with the tap aim in situations like that. That's when you really see him thrive. He's a very smooth mechanical player.
And the fault line set up there as well.
That was so nice from Sadhawk.
Yeah. You talk about Breach being more setup oriented and less fluid, but that was a moment.
Look at this. They just push all the way out of long Loud. They just explode past that brimstone smoke, but just suffer 1 loss for their troubles.
But the loss is great. That's QCK already out of the picture. Again, aggressive probes on both extremities in this round for Loud. They have a decent amount of info off this, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely know that this is coming through short. They're just hoping to have this 3-pronged retake. Multiple angles at the same time. Some delay as well from the Brimstone for the flankers to get in better positions here.
They've done so, making their way. But Leaf is here, he's waiting for it. Can't complete any of those kills, but he's going to try and hold Sardak into his bay. But Sardak was still able to find a kill down towards short. Valen, though, responds. Trent here, fancies a bit of the 1 versus 1. No, Leaf's joined him, in fact. Dangerous for 2's, hard to win out. Cowan's in spots 2, he knows there's 2 inside U-Haul. Or rather, just 1, and Jonah P on the other side of that wall. Valen wards him off with a spray. Les now wants to step up as looks like Kawanzin has gotten out. That's the plan for Loud. They're going to give this one up. They try for something cute on B long. It doesn't pay off.
Definitely best for them to save right now. They're actually going to be able to get a bye into the next round with 2 rifles being saved. So smart for them, and frankly, no other real options here heading into the next. Looking at some of the ults at the moment, you can see Trent is just 1 off from getting another Thrash online. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, it's so easy to just stack up Gecko ult after Gecko ult. And now they wanted to try to bring a new little play into the fold there, something that G2 wouldn't have been expecting, but QCK is just not able to win out that first duel, and that's really all it comes down to. They wanted to catch out G2, and it just didn't pan out as intended, but listen, I respect the attempt. I respect the idea of going for something different there that they weren't expecting.
And we watched QCK. I mean, I don't particularly think that his playstyle has drastically changed at all. I think Andre points out on the desk, he's like, oh, maybe QCK playing differently, maybe less aggressive and now more so, or vice versa. I feel like from what we've seen, QCK has always been that aggressor, first in, last out kind of player, but often just can't even get traded out. Sometimes just goes down on that entry scenario.
Yeah, oftentimes I feel like, I mean, last week aside, last week he stepped up massively for the team against
he won those
Sentinels.
duels.
Yeah, he was playing extremely aggressive. He was winning out his first engagements, crucially, because oftentimes he's just not winning the duels. Even when he's losing, he'll play with the confidence and take those early fights. On defense, he's going to take early fights when he's playing Jet, etc., and try and dash off, but he's just not actually getting the kills enough of the time. Now, that was the case against Sentinels, and they're going to need him to do it here again. And frankly, almost the same could be said for Icy. G2 have talked about how he's fit in terms of his play style into the team, but if his individual game gets elevated to the point where he's a star fragging duelist as well, not just one that's making the space, playing his role, I think that's what will take G2 to the next echelon.
It's Raze on Bind though. There's a lot of setup required to put them in a position to succeed. And that responsibility falls on the rest of the members of these teams. Kawanzin here, this has looked like a late little shower knife. Just how deep are we? Okay, deep enough to spot the sky. Just Jonah being spotted right now. Kawanzin does want to get in, even behind the fault line being spent.
Fire in the hole!
Here's the showstopper though, Icy wasting no time. Dizzy at his flank. In we go, and he knew Kawanzin was operating near showers. Trent also not half a step behind, is able to find a second. Beautiful explosion from G2. And again, Loud are forced into a situation where they have no foothold outside of 2Es. And that one got extinguished awful quick, Wyatt.
Not even necessary at this point, but that wingman does give Trent the Thrash. Won't have to use it in this round, can save it for the next. Economy at this point now is shattered for Loud. Relegated to taking that Judge into the next, as well as the Vandal, and G2 firmly in control of the game at this point.
We're not talking about round thresholds anymore, Wyatt. We're talking about G2 just winning a map and going straight into playoffs, extinguishing the hopes of Sen City.
Absolutely right, and at this point it's beginning to feel like it's their game to lose, frankly, with the state of Loud's economy heading into this next round. And with that Thrash online as well, close to Jonah P's ult, they have the tools necessary to carry this game over the finish line. On their map pick, you would have expected them to be the team picking Icebox here, but no, they went for Bind, which earlier in the season they lost to 100 Thieves. They beat MIBR on it. Mixed results though, so it was a little surprising to see them take things here. But if they get this win, the rest of the map pool, Icebox and Lotus, those are definitively their 2 best maps of the season, and the task will be such an unmeasurable uphill climb for Loud if they can't win here on Bind.
In fairness, Loud have looked decent on those maps as well.
Monster on the loose!
Oh yeah, definitely G2's playground right there. Molly's gonna slow off the fast hit. 2Es wants to fill the space behind this. Oh! Jackpot! Finds Icy. Kawanzin also gonna be there. The fault line will dissuade any attempt to trade or follow up on those kills. 2Es doesn't have a comfortable spot to be. Oh my goodness, front and center! It's an easy pick off for Leaf. That's a 4v4 now. But Kawanzin catches Jonah P slipping. Just walking his way out of showers.
And this is just confidence gusto from Loud. Could they have taken a safer chance perhaps and just bought better weapons in the next? Yeah, but they take a bunch of Guardians into this round, fight aggressively on short with the Stinger. They risked it on that round. That's a lot of confidence to go for that play. And it pays off massively for them. Now carrying all these Vandals into the next. Trent's Thrash expended as well. And suddenly they've turned the game on its head by just, again, taking a high-risk, high-reward play, committing to the buy on that round.
A variation we haven't seen yet from Loud on defense, actually expending utility to slow an inevitable hit. They're doing it again.
It's actually just going to be a contact walk down on short again, mixing things up. They've been so varied in their defensive approach so far, keeping G2 on their toes.
They're rewarded for it too.
My ult's ready.
They're going to have such a fast flank on Hookah. Should it be relevant? What did the Seekers tell?
I mean, the Seekers tell that flank is coming, and it's got them scared, that's for sure. Pressure on less, though, as the players descend from Hookah. Oh my god, what a transfer. That is absurd from Loud's star player.
And we flip the map. Loud coming from those flanking positions now, and no need to hurry at this stage. Leaf, though, just better than Kawanzin there. QCK and Tui's had to explode, but there's pressure from Octagon, and they're not ready for it.
QCK just had to try to make space here for 2Es. Trying to get out of Hookah on a retake is a painful, miserable experience.
Tui's now knows that without the Raze saturating, his options are limited. And his chance to save this weapon also a slim one at best. Winning out here against Jonah. Somehow making the correct estimate of his position and then running away is the only thing he can do. He's done it. So gun maintained. And off we go.
And it was those Seekers from Jonah that really threw off Loud's intentions there, taking advantage of the fact that G2 also not running a Sentinel, which is really common at this point for the bind meta. And that allows teams to be able to push down out of Hookah, push down out of short, flank through market, and not be exposed by, you know, back when there used to be that, I mean, way back when there was a chamber trip, for instance.
Let's go. Good job.
Or sometimes when that Cypher is on the map as well. But it was the Seekers that exposed that play fully, and then you could see a moment of hesitation from Loud. They weren't sure if they should turn back, keep going for the flank, and it's just that small, I mean, I say small piece of utility. It's an ultimate, and it's pretty good. And it gets them a ton of info. And now at this point, timeout going to be called from Loud as they're on death's door here. And a good time to take one for sure. Heading into this round, they've got 3 ultimates. They have Less's Viper's Pit, Kawanzin's Null Command, and Sadhawk's Rolling Thunder on the Breach. Additionally, it looks like they're trying to pick up the Operator in the hands of QCK. This is not something that we have seen yet in the server from either team. Well, save for when Kawanzin bought one because he had so much money in the last half on the very last round, just for fun to open the round with.
What do we do? Post up on a forward angle here? It's got to be through showers, no?
Yeah, and it looks like that is going to be the move. Showers controlled for Loud over on the A side. Perhaps the Viper's Pit just going to go down early in Hookah to control that area of the map. You know, hoping to funnel some players into QCK's op. He picks it up a whole hell of a lot, and he's going to have to get a big kill here.
It won't just be QCK. Able to play off Kawanzin at least. G2 lined up for this though. They are waiting for another contact push up from the defenders, and they've picked the right part of the map to anticipate it.
Wow, look at this aggression from him. It's a dangerous spot, pushed up too far where he could get traded out, couldn't get back behind the wall to satchel away or pick up another angle. G2 are going to accelerate off the back of that into the site.
This G2, man, that's something else. Here's the wingman getting on in. Trent having a fantastic map so far. Kawanzin no chance to do too much to disrupt earlier on. Rolling Thunder, Trent hit by it. As he's icy, nothing he could do about the swing out of U-Haul. It's his ultimates now, getting thrown in by Loud. They know it's such an important round. Their economy is so shaky. And they've been able to secure it here.
Fantastic flood off that Rolling Thunder from Sadhawk. Icy caught in that. Another play I couldn't see which was caught close in the smokes, just trying to take a bit of a forward position to catch them off. That triple smoke they were hiding in. Really well done from Loud there. And now carrying into the next round, they've still saved so many ultimates, and frankly, The aggression got a little out of hand from QCK. The angle he was holding just a moment ago was fine. He wanted to take a little bit more space.
Gotta push up.
Push the issue just a bit, but it's to its demise. They recover the operator though, give it back into his hands. And again, he's gonna be headed towards Shower right now. Take a same line.
G2 just have not been in a hurry to take control of that part of the map. Do they expect it twice?
There was an early flash down short from Cow and Zine, which immediately gets re-cleared by Jonah P, sending a sky flash up, getting the ping, so they know that there was no one actually pushing down off the back of that KO.
They are doing it again. QCK holding it, holding it, holding it! Leaf is down. He's still caught in the corner though. We'll have to satchel across if he's brave. Doesn't know he needs to check the left, and Valorant is going to be there. So it plays out just like it did in the prior round as a 1-for-1. Cowan-Zine though, the second layer of defense, this time can actually trade. G2 don't have a plant yet. Wingman was disrupted. Now they're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Tweeters won't see anything for the wall there. It's a brief attempt at a spray and nothing more. Jonah checks the flank. He will get some action. Cowan-Zine in a swing. He has a knife out. Jonah can't recover in time. And G2 are down to 2 players. Playing off the back of the side. Icy's good for it. Sarnak is down. Now the 2v2, but Les has other plans. Trent holding on. It's Trent. Can he get there? Les comes in from the top rope. Try as they might, G2 can't get another one there. They know if they win this map, they secure a 3rd place and a playoff spot in stage 1. They're close, they can taste it, but they've got to land the plane.
And Les is the man, of course, to lock things up for Loud. He has been the reliable player for this squad all year. I mean, all of last year as well. But this year has been the most tumultuous for the team. And he's the one stepping up. Now it's going to be a timeout called here from the coach of G2, Josh RT. He's been working with the squad for over a year now, since they began in Challengers last year, began that journey to making it into partnerships, the journey to try to make it back to an international LAN, which they had a taste of right at the beginning of this team's lifespan years ago at Reykjavik. They were this promised team of young upcoming players, and they couldn't live up to the pressure at that LAN. And they've been clawing and fighting for a way back there, staying together as a unit for years to do so. These players had tons of offers to go to other teams in partnerships last year, but they said no, they stuck together. They've made it all this way now, that core of Valen, Trent, and Jonah P.
And they stuck together as 5. Much longer than many other teams. They really, really waited on it. See text departs for
and now on the cusp of taking down one of the giants in Valorant history. A well-timed timeout as well. You're always going to see this with timeouts, right? Where the next round there's going to be a hell of a lot of ultimates. Valen has been sitting for the past few rounds, excuse me, on that Brim ultimate. And with the Molly, that should be enough for them to lock up a 12th round here. You have to imagine.
Got to be a pop here to be long. They're going to push the smoke even. Let's try to throw some shots in behind them. But that's devastating. Oh, it's devastating for G2.
Toxin screen down.
And that time it works out perfectly for Loud. They brought that one out earlier in the half. It didn't work as intended, but this time the swings more decisive, the trades there more aggressive. 2E's in trouble. Almost threw his life away, caught by the Molly and the Dizzy, but Les picks up the angle, and it's just a weak Leaf left alone.
Here.
Take a weak breeze to blow that Leaf away. And Les puts 12 on the board for Loud.
What a call from Sadhawk. Just G2, what are you guys scheming with this timeout right now? You got all these ults, you're gonna go for some big thing. All right, cool. We are just going to fearlessly run at you again. Absolutely, disrupt is the word. And Sadhawk gets a 2-piece off of it. What a call, what a, again, the confidence from these guys.
Bloody diabolical from Sadhawk, if I'm honest with you. G2 had it all laid out, but guess what? You shot, you die.
They've got 4 ultimates in this last round. If they can't convert this and take this thing to OT, that would be a travesty.
Trent, a lot of eyes on him. He's had a great map. It's going to take more, though. Oh, no.
Great knife.
Instantly shuts the Thrash down. Leaf pulls out. Icy, though, onto the side with the Showstopper. He still went for it in the end. Tui's keeping himself out of harm's way as the Showstopper whizzes past his left ear. Sarnak finds Icy, but Valorant is going to be there. Cowan's being punished by the orbital strike. It's going to be Sarnak eventually falling. Tui challenges inside Hookah. It's a 1-for-1. 2 players on either side left to go. QCK, Showstopper a little slow. And G2 straight through the TP, a beeline for A.
Leaf right now, oh my god, they could play this so well. Jonah can plant, get the Seekers. Leaf right now is the pit down. Huge advantage coming into the end, really heads up. Small play from Jonah that's gonna pay off massively. They know about this QCK flank now. He wanted to get in behind and shower, made irrelevant by the Seekers.
His timing's off too. He's way behind Les.
There.
G2 are gonna wait. Les pings it. Oh, okay, he gets into U-Haul. There was no pick out. Oh my god! Why did they do it? How do Loud do it?
Magic from QCK.
They're gas fishing, and they come up with Moby Dick.
That's just no way. How does he hit that? G2 crushed. They popped every ultimate in that last round. All 5 of them, even getting Jonas online at the very end. Absolutely crushing for them on their map pick.
What are we playing?
Ya lo sabéis, it's Halo Day.
Yeah, one sec.
He's playing football, isn't he?
You know he fancies himself a footballer. Oh, whatever. Look, your love makes me strong, but your hate makes me invincible. All right, let's get on Halo then. Let's go.
Ready.
Dale.
He's on my back this time, right?
Chill, chaval. I won't ghost you this time.
I'm going hallway.
I got right.
Uno fuera.
Oh, another one down. Lock in. Next kill wins it.
Where is he? No lo veo.
Nisha, you hear that?
Pick on him, top left.
I'll push it. He's one shot.
Game over.
Got him.
Well played.
Same time tomorrow then.
We'll see.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Nos vemos.
No, the Mazine can do this. Wingman can. Oh my goodness, Trent does it again!
Vem tentar o plant, quer secar de novo, olha o Cauã!
Here's the coach of Loud, STK, a wild last round for a wild map. I know going into today, it's very serious. There's a lot of talk about, who will make what when you have all this stuff going on. I'm gonna simplify it for you. How is your team feeling going into today, and how are they feeling now?
I think that's the difference between today and the other day that we play. I think that we have no pressure today. I think that even if our win make us playoffs, I think that we are going to make more chill and let's do our job. And if we can win and have playoffs. But not like so many expectations for today. Just do our job.
All right, well, do your job and best of luck.
Well, they needed to do the job, and they did just that on map 1. Loud pick up the win in dramatic fashion at the tail end of that game.
That last round was ridiculous.
It was the final bullet went through the dang truck and killed the guy. It was just insane. Absolutely stellar stuff there from both teams, truly across the board. But let's actually go ahead and dive into it and break it down a little further here because, Loud, one thing is for certain, when we know that this team cooks up a strategy, they get it done, and they got it done with those post plans.
Yeah, the real impressive thing for me this game was Loud's attacking side. When you're playing this composition with this KO, with this breach, I think they do a really good job of balancing their resources in what they're using in the first wave and what flashes they're saving for the post plant, and also timing when that second cycle of the stun comes back online to have this util to deny the flood. They layer their mollies, their flashes, those
They're not
stuns
just throwing it away
so well, and it makes it so hard to play that retake. And the guy who was playing off all that util was quick.
Yeah, and he did a great job getting aggressive, too. I mean, he didn't have the best stat line, but even that round that you pointed out, Mimi, where there's all this pressure and elbow, QCK runs through the CT smoke. Yeah, it's a big gamble to do, but it was perfect for the moment. And that's what Loud is so good at doing, identifying the moments in which they need to play like that.
And I love when QCK plays with this confidence, right? He'll always take risks, but I feel like when the team is hitting like this, it's so much more valuable. But even with losing that game, G2 have given themselves an opportunity. They only need to win 3 rounds in this next map to guarantee playoffs and eliminate Sentinel.
That's it. They just need to get 3 rounds, and they will be, at the very least for themselves, they will be moving on to the playoffs here. But for Loud, I mean, firstly, to be G2, you're looking good. It feels like everything's clicking, and then out of nowhere, the door gets closed right in your face. That has to be frustrating for G2, especially going into Icebox.
Sure. I mean, that map was theirs to win, right? That second half, they were playing so well. I think the calling on that attack side was excellent from Valen, but this Loud team just digs deep. That call out of G2's timeout from Loud, too, that push down long.
It's crazy.
They're so good in these late games.
And the way they did it, too, right? We had the fake op shot to bait that, you put a smoke up, I'm just chilling there. Yeah. But then we have 3 people running down, and the key factor was getting out and just playing the 4v2. To clean it up, and that was crazy.
Yeah, they took the gambles, they took the risks. It pays off for them in the end. Of course, so G2, they're only going to be 3 rounds away from being able to qualify for the playoffs. Let's go ahead and hear what Josh RT has to say about that.
Here with Josh RT of G2. Now, Josh, I don't know if you know, but if you win 3 rounds, you're in for playoffs. That's all you have to do. Is that extra pressure? Is that, we got this? Because that was a very close back and forth game, but anything can happen in Valorant.
It's a lot of pressure. No, I think we'll take this map, honestly. Yeah.
All right, best of luck. Hopefully you just didn't jinx it.
Elizabeth playing with fire as always. Yeah, I mean, look, not a lot to really pull there from Josh RT, but I think one thing was, you know, him just flat out admitting, yeah, this is a lot of pressure. It is, right? You know, like this team coming into this situation.
I think he was being a little sarcastic.
I think he was trolling a little bit.
I think there is a lot of pressure, though. I mean,
I think that on paper there is, but I think this is a team that handles it really well.
For sure. But they do need to pick up those 3 rounds. And look, I'm going to be real with y'all. Sometimes you think you're in a situation where all you need is just 3 rounds.
If G2 in the...
and then...
Okay. I don't think he's going to tell the players that. I don't think the players need to know or will know.
Of course.
Is my honest saying, right? G2 just need to play this like any other game because they played a damn good map 1. It was so close. Could have been theirs. And they're going to be fired up to win this.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just letting you know. The human brain goes through layers of doubt and denial over time. And there could be something afoot there. So G2 needs to keep their wits about themselves. Let's go ahead, though, and talk about map 2. Get ready for that here because we're going to be going over to Icebox. But here's the good news for G2 is that they're good on Icebox as well. So I'm not too concerned here, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think that there is really going to be that much in the way of, you know, things blocking them on their way to the playoffs at this point. But again, it's Loud. Loud knows how to really catch people off guard when they think that they're at their most comfortable.
Yeah, and the key differences in compositions, if it's the same as we've seen these teams play before, is you have the main duelist on the Loud side, right? QCK is going to be on that Jet with the Harbor and the Viper. And then on the flip side, Icy's actually going to be playing the Gecko on this map. And he's looked really, really good on it. And the way that G2 plays Icebox with their utility and delay, it's going to be tough for a team like Loud to deal with. I think we're going to see a lot of those moments that we saw in the last map where they kind of tap, bomb, pause, wait for that util dump. But the key difference here is that they don't have that breach to give extra utility.
Sure.
So the utility game is not in their favor.
Yeah, G2 is on a 4-map win streak here on Icebox, playing this comp that no one else in the league is playing. This double scan with the Gecko Sova has been really cool to watch. Combining that with the utility you get from the Harbor Viper for tools on that attack side, and also for your retake, flooding back in. I think the way they implement it as well is great. They're always on point with the timings of these util combos and the way they're setting each other up. It's been clean. But if there is a team who is the team of the Harbor Viper comp, who is like the OG of Icebox, it's Loud.
I mean, they are the OGs of this comp, but the problem I have is I think it's outdated, actually. I mean, the Jet works, for sure. Jet on Icebox can always work. But I love the Gecko. It's so part of the meta right now. It allows you the flexibility to not have to plant the bomb yourself, and it also opens up Leaf to actually play that Sentinel role as a duelist and take risks that we don't see other Killjoys doing.
But where other teams have struggled to win with the old Harbor Viper, Loud have continued to succeed. They're better at this comp than anyone else, and this is their chance to make playoffs with the 2-0.
We're ready for map 2. Let's go ahead and send it over to Uber and Wyatt for the call.
Thank you very much. Golden Boy and the desk. Loud, of course, hailed as the progenitor of this Harbor Viper composition, right? Many teams going for it. For them, though, they don't have the Gecko in here, right?
No, that is the biggest difference is that obviously G2, very similar comp, but they have a Dizzy. They have a flash to play off of. And that's going to make a massive difference in situations on defense when we're seeing something we actually saw against Sentinels in the case of Loud. They did win that Icebox match, but at times struggled in situations where they're trying to flood retake off of some of the Harbor utility, like a high tide coming in, going in behind it. They didn't have that additional piece with a flash to push players off of the angles, and we may see that difference come into play here. In fact, I'm sure we will at points in this game. It's G2 starting on the attack side. Less over here towards B. Curiously, not the Harbor here, where you're typically going to see that wall, but things made easy when you get a spam kill straight through that Viper wall to start things off.
And Les really has a sense for that. We've seen it so often from him. We saw how good Loud were through that Viper's been in the last round of fight. That's forced off the angle here by the Recon briefly, but the Viper one-way is still in place. High tides exchanged, and G2 are pulling out.
They're trying to go for this fast hit onto A now, with all that utility expended on the B side, knowing the presence of the Harbor is there as well. They know 3 players are in the vicinity. So pressure now onto Cowan Zine, who stepped up massively last week against Sentinels to anchor back in this site.
See Cascade thrown up towards screens by G2. Sarnak still wants to try and play around this box, and it's good, it's beautiful. Need a bit more, and he's always got extra pocket space.
This guy has been so individually skilled this year, Sadhak. He's stepped up in so many moments like this. I mean, last year, previous to that, was never really necessary. He could just focus on his role, but now when he needs to, he is delivering these moments, and frankly, with consistency over this year so far, despite some of the team troubles that they've had. Look at him go.
Amongst all of this, his defense calling is unbelievable. Like what we saw from them on Bind. The stuff he was able to pull out. G2 were never ready for it.
Absolutely. You have QCK on the line B with Marshall right now, which is allowing for a stack for the rest of the Loud side onto A.
Two is eventually brought down. Gun dip saves him in that first engagement. Cowanzine, he finds the timing! Not bad. Still going to be traded out though. And Cascade will keep less at bay for now.
This is scary. QCK only with a Marshall on this retake, but can G2 recover any weapons? They've still only got 3 classics in hand, and looks like Loud want to get in fast with a spike being planted.
Another great timing from Les. This time drops on Icy. All those guns are in screens. G2 no opportunity to get them. It's only Trent salvaging a Bulldog. And so they're disadvantaged in the post plant. And from 410 comes QCK. Trent here. Gonna be held at bay. That's the Marshall getting involved.
Les holding that angle deep from the far right corner of Catwalk. Trent knew he couldn't swing. He knew he would go down there attempting to trade. So was just trying to bide his time. But the real moment of significance is when the spike was going down, Loud recovering the round by getting that timing to flood back into the site right here with Les. A good on-the-fly decision.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
Just talking a little smack. G2 now gonna be on that full buy. Loud with an opportunity to bonus. And now for the first time, 3 rounds in, we're seeing that standard Harbor wall from the B defending side, which cuts this angle off. And oh my God, QCK has gone so deep off of it. So aggressive.
It is playing completely out of pattern here.
Here.
It's really hard for G2 to preempt any of this. This is about as far forward as you can be while still on the right side of sanity. This is spotted Cowanzine. Finally able to pick that one up there. That's a dash away and an immediate repost because it's QCK, and who else would go for it? Trent in trouble.
How does he get out? How does he slip away?
It's criminal! Criminal. G2's buy going horribly awry in the early stages of this round. They're going to pick up the pieces now and cobble together a push towards this B side. Okay.
Now the advantage of having that Gecko, the wingman, coming in to try and get the spike down, but with the wall up, it's perfectly placed for Sadhak to deny.
They're taking liberty after liberty. Don't go into the cove. Okay, Sadhak thinks about it briefly. And here is the flank. Les is right on time. He simply arrives exactly when he means to.
And all of that delay allowed him to just work his way up there slowly, not have to make any noise, increase the pace, give away footsteps. The delay from Sadhak there. And it's that Harbor wall that is so nice that just curves around the default plant spot so he can work up and break that wingman without being in danger. But, I mean, come on, how the hell did QCK get away with that in the early round? So awkward for G2. Trent was trying to reload. No one could trade off of that kill in time.
Loud broke about 3 cardinal rules of Valorant in that round. That's, again, like there's a general conditioning about the flow of the game, and they're disrupting it.
QCK now picking up the operator. That Harbor wall is going to go down from 2Es into B main. Yet again. Op going to cover the mid-cross. Actually rotating off now is QCK as the defenders adjust their positioning just a bit.
They're not pushing up for info yet on B. QCK is about to post up. This might force Sadhak to trend over towards A here. A little bit of sound. G2 are on the approach. It'll be Leaf with first contact. Cowanzine just hold them one down for the boys! And you love to see it!
And just before last week, it's hard to believe when you see clips like that, but Cowan Zine, until the match against Sentinels, did not go positive on a single map. Neither did QCK, as a matter of fact. And those two stepping up so significantly over these past 2 weeks has just boosted Loud back into being the Loud that we actually know. This is the team, this is the world-beating team that we've seen in the past, that we know they can be and should be.
Again, not much to talk about there for G2 on that eco. Back with weapons in hand. Thrash, Reckoning, both available for the attackers, and they are taking it slow in the early stages.
And I don't even think they actually know QCK has an op because he didn't have to fire a shot at all in the last round. Deep on this A angle, and look at the rotation it's triggered from Loud. Cowanzine comes over to pick up mid. All the attention over towards B. Hunter's Fury is going to come actually from Cowanzine.
They want that info.
Not ready yet.
G2 conditioned to play so slow over towards B.
Up for more?
Loud wondering just how far up they've gotten because they don't have a presence over there by yellow.
Reckoning committed as well, just to try and force these Loud players back to get some space into the site here.
Out they come. Reckoning about to expire. Sartak can't interrupt the plant here. It will be 2-is though. Found Leaf. Was elsewhere. There was a catch there by the Thrash. Jonah P eventually finds his spot to explode down mid. Now going to be on that wrap to join the rest of G2, not opting to take mid proper. Our drone will be illuminating. Phelan spotted. Now can't hold that angle. He's thinking about it.
Oh, come on. How does he get away with that, man?
Astonishing. And look at this. The lockdown. What a spot for it. Loud are above reproach.
This is the team that when we talk about Loud for the first time being on the verge of not making an international event, it's not this team we're watching right now. It's the team we saw in the first few weeks. This is a team that we see make it every single time, consistently make top 4s at those events. Winning champions before.
They had it all in that round. The lockdown being the final knife in the back.
G2 feeling the pressure, calling the first time out of the game right now, Josh RT. Speaking to Liz, he said he was confident they were going to take this map. And listen, you can't blame him. They beat Lev here, and Lev are looking like they are probably the best team in the league, though. Listen, Loud are trying to stake a claim on that one. They had us in the first half, but now they're coming back.
They haven't lost more than 8 rounds against anyone on this map all stage.
I mean, I mean, they have just been at such a fantastic level with this duelist-less comp, playing with the Gecko, and I am a big fan of it. But right now, Loud dismantling them.
I think Sartak's calling is causing them some serious problems. They play so ponderously over towards, you know, the B side of the map that previous round. They give so much time. They don't have the ability to penetrate B properly, get through towards Snowman. Rough.
They are struggling over towards that B main side for sure. On this round, their buy not going to be strong whatsoever, making sure they have a full into the next. They at least do have a couple long-range weapons in the mix here. Again, your standard harbor wall going to come up here to deny early B main, force out a drone to have to re-clear past it, or just waiting it out, and it's going to be the early recon used. That one up top that gets a good amount of information, but with the high tide, none at all actually. 2-E's just able to dodge that.
Not a lot of early aggression from G2 over at A recently. Definitely none from Belt. So Cowanzine felt safe enough pushing up. Now there's so much early warning.
Look at the rotate from Loud. QCK has just picked up the op angle deep on B, and they have 4 players on A now ready for this.
I see at least to pipes. Well, I don't think G2 are committing to this at all. Maybe leave Jonah P and Leaf to have a crossfire here. They're slowing the tempo down. The high tide comes out from Loud to add more stall.
They dodged that recon. Some false information then for Loud with it not getting broken, not getting any pings. And at the same time, G2 have done a nice job extracting some of that harbor utility. They're waiting for that wall to go down, perhaps to go back towards A, but no, they're actually opting to go for B. They're going to leave Leaf in this pushed
30
up
seconds
position
left.
on A to try and catch a player out, make a little bit of noise perhaps.
Cascade's going to get them in, but QCK sees all that he needs to. Rapidly now trying to reposition backwards. Lit by the recon. Back behind the high tide. This will be a full retake setup for Loud now as QCK is shoved away.
10 seconds left.
Valen low on
Spike
HP.
planted.
Close position here for Trent into the site. Dangerous though. Cowanzine gonna drone and probably clear close as well. And he just caught Trent, and Southhawk capitalizes off of it to get the man advantage. Recon back yellow is going to expose Valen as well.
He's low! So low! 3 HP and a dream for Valen, but he's still able to find his. That's big. G2 forced to play off the side for the most part. QCK dancing in the nano swarm, and the code goes up. Who is going to interrupt this? QCK off of it. Icy versus QCK. The reckoning though still in play, but Loud don't have enough time. G2, tooth and nail, have gotten into this game.
Finally for G2. And it was a good call from Valen to cut noise and go all the way back to B. The way that round played out over on A, where they dodged the recon, completely cut noise, got a bunch of utility out. Very reasonable for Loud to think that they could just then go for a re-hit. So Loud stayed stacked up there, and they had QCK with the op on B.
Let's go, guys. One's all we get.
And it was G2 just off a good call from Valen to fall off and go for that B hit instead. Get the site for free.
Of course, the EG
well done.
contingent getting excited about that result. That's 12 for G2, by the way.
Of course, EG, they need G2 to win this map and the series to go through into the playoffs of the Omega group. If Loud take it, they'll be the ones through. QCK, early fight onto B, great shot with the operator.
Yeah, Cascade comes now, way too late. It won't bring back Icy, but it will at least get them over towards B again. High tides exchange once more. Loud again have to respect this.
Cove gonna go down for the safe plant, but actually not gonna plant inside of it. Gives Trent a little bit of space to play off of and hold that angle up top, and the pit comes in from Jonah P as well. Trent, look at how far back he is. He has the Hunter's Fury in case things get scrappy. Can pull that one out to close the round out.
Cowanzine here, there are heads turned in his direction. Spots Trent, he wasn't looking.
Brother.
Jonah P there on top of that container. Inside the pit still. Recon to try and light it up. Cowanzine eventually drops here. QCK dives in the shorty. Doesn't quite have the height. And now Loud have to pull out. G2 have done it. That's 13 rounds over the series for them. At the very least, they've achieved the tiebreaker.
Leaf gonna go down to the spike at the very end. Just a solid B execute with the tools that they have here that you're gonna see with this harbor. The walls going up, a little bit of a fake with a cove that time though, not planting inside of it, off to default just to this, just a few feet to the right to kind of throw Loud just a little bit off, and then Trent also able to take a peek up top. Was nice off of that.
Let's go.
Finally, a little bit of momentum. Not the most excited let's go I've ever heard.
Yeah, definitely.
But listen, we'll get there. Maybe if we get 3 in a row, maybe 4 in a row.
Saving energy, giving yourself some headroom is important.
We could get the decibels up on the next let's go.
All right, that's a recon cleared early. Less. What an opener. G2 here lost that belt presence now.
Look at this
slowly slinking away.
Position from QCK. Pushed up so far on B.
The risk of making noise, though, if he doesn't anticipate Leaf to be on the other side of that wall. He's got to see some action!
And it was just when Leaf started backing off. If he was in the same position, QCK was as good as dead. The turret is watching this, though.
Sarnak is going to get a confirmation here in a moment. And realizes how close he was to getting a free haircut. A Cascade comes down. QCK's wondering where these shots are coming from. Blades pulled out. He's ready for close quarters.
Really taking a risk there for a moment with the positioning was QCK. No dash online.
Big fight from Jonah. Big fight.
Re-wrapped into kitchen. It seems like he's sniffing this out, aware that a player could have worked up all the way through kitchen into this position. He had the turret there, obviously. Broken.
QCK's done. He's cooked! Jonah finishes the job. Little haphazard, but still effective. And there it is, G2 in that 2 versus 1. Les on a bit of a late flank.
Spike planted.
Icy can't win that one out, and Les is very healthy now to take this last challenge.
He has the Viper's pit, but Leaf is the one with the lockdown. Going to be some serious delay here. Is he just going to get right on and take the fight? There's just no way he's got to get out of the way of this lockdown, or he does get it just in time to break it. He's just too clutch. And this is something we've seen all too many times from Loud's star player in Les, and it's certainly not the last time we're going to see a big clutch from him.
Sentinels fans discovering the cure for hypotension in that round.
Les once the ranked upcoming star that Loud picked up in the inception of the team, and now the guy there with Sadhak with the most experience. And the guy as well just steps up in these tough scenarios against Leaf, who has just been incredible since switching to the Sentinel role for G2, and specifically when he's on the Killjoy, he's putting up 0.9 kills per round. Damn near a kill per round when he's on Killjoy.
That's duelist level. Speaking of which, look at this aggressive play from Loud over towards the A side. G2 are decimated. What do you have to work with now? Valorant there, falling away, so it's up to Trent. God, it's been a tough attacking half for this G2 outfit. It has been brutal. Trent's going to swing this and see an assailant right on the other side of the wall here. Who's got the quicker trigger finger? Time to find out, of course. As per usual, it's Les.
Once again, it's QCK opening the round up, getting that first kill with the operator. He is looking absolutely white hot right now. The man who was the lightning rod of so much criticism directed at this squad for their failures in the first few weeks in Americas, people questioning even the run at Madrid, not beating the best teams there. They were looking at this man to step up for the squad, and finally against Sentinels last week doing it. Against G2 right now doing it. Hitting the shots he needs to hit. A resurgence for his individual level.
G2 have the correct read on an aggressive posting by Loud at B. QCK has been an issue. They've tried to force him off this angle. Looks like that L drone was actually just used to check close and not force him off there, so it's gonna be tough to hit that B in general. And through mid, it's a massacre. Sadhak steps up. The mid control for Loud has been at a premium. Dizzy, no problem. Jonah P on his Lona P. Yeah, that's tough.
For the first half of this entire season from Madrid, the qualifier kickoff till now, we had seen so much of Loud experimenting with that Phoenix comp. They were so committed to the double flash look. And it had such a short shelf life, it expired, that when we got to Americas and when they had the problems getting into the country on time to be able to play, they just never had time to adjust and start something new. And it feels like finally now, after several weeks of practice with some of these different compositions, getting rid of that old look with the Phoenix, they are starting to be that comprehensive unit that we expect them to be once again.
Okay, here comes a Thrash. It's sent on in. Icy not getting what he came for, though. Comes into Hunter's Fury. Not even a scratch on G2 after that one. This time it's Tui's in kitchen as Sadhak is playing closer to Boiler. 410 positioning denied.
And that attacking Silver Drone was committed to try and root Les out of the pit, get a tag on him, hopefully spray him down, but it did not.
Drone to P. Not a good way to start the round. The plant comes in though. Awkward position for it. G2 are going to take what they can get here. Thrash 2 Electric Boogaloo. This time hits the mark and they're able to follow it up. Now the pit will come down. Reckoning popped. A problem now for Loud in this retake scenario as Sadhak gets the hot foot. Icy finds another. G2. It's just QCK now to try and hold them back. He's good for just the one. Pinged up by the recon though. That's all but impossible. With the wrong weaponry as well. With this round, G2 would dash the hopes of Sen City. Getting ahead to qualify. QCK's nothing to do.
And there it is. Sadly, the Sen City crumbled. G2, they have officially made it into the playoffs, so they have locked that one up. And now it's in the hands of Loud. They're the ones with their playoff hopes still on the line. They're up 1-0 in the series. Big advantage here on the first half on their map pick, Icebox. If they can take this map down, they will have made the playoffs as well, and EG's hopes will have been dashed.
First tick in the box. Get into playoffs. Second tick would be do it for the boys as EG are looking on. We need a G2 win in the series. Far-fetched as it feels right now.
Loud push up fast to get the orb. 2Es off of that. Reckoning now in play for this final round of the half, so a certainty that that'll be going off in the late round for either a retake situation or a flood situation while the spike is going down for G2.
We've taken it slow. Again, QCK. Very much par for the course from Loud's Jet player on this map. Always looking for more. Aldrome doesn't really... okay! He re-swings that! It just assembled alternately.
And QCK, no matter how hard he's hitting mechanically, he will always be fighting over B main on Icebox. Sometimes it's to his detriment. He's not hitting the shots, but he won't give up. He will still go for it. But on a day like this, where he can't miss that first bullet, you can see the impact that just his self-assuredness, his confidence that it has on the game. So many first kills for Loud.
30 seconds left.
And now they can just play retake with this Reckoning online. Sodhawk even gets another oppressive. With time low, they're just gonna deny it outright.
And there is no chance for G2. Have to fight through this. Wingman down, Icy vulnerable as he came through the cove.
Enemy remaining.
Valen with a valiant attempt, but it's a 9-3 half there for Loud. They have been indomitable on Icebox.
Making G2, frankly, look like a worse team than they actually are. Mentioned it already, but this is the G2 on Icebox that defeated Lev, who have just been easily top 2, if not the best team right now in Americas. They are no joke on this map. And Loud look so elite.
Spectacular.
There's a reason they picked it into G2. That had me weary looking at this pool, and now it's making sense. They're giving him a lesson on how to play with that double controller.
Loud eyeing off that playoffs berth that looked unlikely at the start of the stage, but here we are. We're going to head over to the GP and the Des to break down a brutal half if you're a G2 fan.
One could argue it was a touch bittersweet because even though on the server it wasn't necessarily the most, I guess, exciting performance there for G2, they got the 3 rounds, baby. They're in. So that's all that matters for them. They're playoff bound, but now is where the real work comes in here where, they want to try and pick up this win against Loud.
Yeah, but it was a half dominated by Loud. The biggest thing impressing me there was QCK. This guy's aggression was insane. His offing was on point. It feels like the guy we've been waiting to see for so long with this Loud team.
Yeah, and he needs to tap into that because they're going to win a lot more games with him playing like this. He was really abusing that jet dash, staying for prolonged times, and it got him a massive value on not only info, but kills.
Yeah, and their late rounds as well were great. Loud winning out on a lot of these retake situations with Cow and Zine, I think in particular, doing a good job at that. But it was always these opening kills that were setting them on that course.
And just the way that you guys were talking about in the first game, but it was a similar thing here. The way that they were just laying the utility and just preventing them from being able to do anything. And then you have Les, who just, he has been popping off. Again, I think Wyatt said top 5 player, you can make the case that he's at, at different points in time like the best player in the world. How does he still do it?
Every international event he goes to, he's in the conversation for top 3 for a reason. This guy is so consistently good.
It's so scary to see how this Loud team has been able to pick up the pieces, Baby Bay, and now they look very dominant in this situation.
Yeah, but G2 is no slouch on this map. Defensive side is where they're really good, and this is where they like to thrive.
If Loud win this one, close out 2-0, they guarantee their slot in playoffs. If G2 could make this comeback happen, though, they could do it for the boys and give EG a slot of their own.
Yeah, you got to check the heart monitors there for Evil Geniuses, make sure that they're still with us. But for now, let's go ahead and send it back over to Uber and Wyatt.
9-3 halftime scores. We return now to the frigid tundra. Loud really setting the pace early.
And a pretty standard B main take here. Pushing that high tide forward to get the space for Loud. Now on the attacking side, Sodhawk pushed up towards A. Turret in tow just to control this part of the map. And look at this drone being expended on B right now from Cowanzine. But G2, they're not buying that as something significant enough to draw rotations. Matter of fact, they have 3 towards A right now. Expecting this hit to be the likely one to come in, and they'd be right.
That drone's going to be relevant. I want to circle back to it after. Loud here. Playing without any flashes to speak of. That's going to be exposed potentially on this side.
I mean, look at how deep Cowanzine is right now. This is ridiculous, but they haven't left A because surely if he's here and the spike isn't going down, they have to still be at A, right? But they've given him so much space and the rest of Loud so much space that they can just rotate all the way over to him.
Les is in a pivotal position. They're not ready for it. They never seem to be. That results in a trade. G2 grouped up as 3 now, all through orange.
Icy does still have the wingman. Cowanzine with a great timing.
What a timing. And that means Leaf is up against it. Pistol loss here would be catastrophic for G2 and for EG.
Bot coming back.
And it would be Loud on the precipice of making playoffs. Something that just didn't seem possible early on in this season.
We thought they were done. We thought it was over.
3 weeks straight of, frankly, the lowest level of play we have ever seen from this Loud squad since they began years ago. Debuting at Reykjavik, making it to the finals against that old Optic team, and since then it has just been greatness for 2 straight years.
A legacy.
It felt like we were finally witnessing the fall off, but after a few weeks of that, they said, hell no. And they're right back to that top level form.
Like they forgot about Dre. Unreal. Off we go now over towards the A side. Heavy belt presence for Loud. See the Guardian for Cowanzine may be relevant. 2 Vandals also brought into this. Cascade now to screen them, and QCK just loves to float between Raptors and Gen on rounds like this. Get that backside control. But he's doing it piecemeal. Just splitting it up, not overcommitting, so disciplined.
The scaling onto the site is just perfect from Loud. Cleaning up this anti-eco with ease. I say that, but now Leaf on the flank, maybe with an opportunity.
I've seen easier.
Going to be shut down by 2Es. Easier for him, no doubt. What? A little bit silly there at the end.
2 Vandals. They bought 2 Vandals. They take 2 Vandals out of the round. Problem? I don't think so. 11-3 now in G2. Their last best chance here, truly, to come back into this map. Their best map. Their best map. They are struggling. They're drowning.
When you're looking at the map pool, G2 have to be... Seriously? Hold on, we got Icebox and Lotus, and we get to pick a 3rd map? But Loud are in rare form right now. Less 16-4. What a player. It's going to be that early drone to control B main. Deep harbor wall, making it look like a split could be coming in here onto the B site in totality.
QCK has to play passive for now and opts to drop off that 2 angle. Some creeping forward for Loud though on the B side of the map here, and it's a more passive angle being held by Icy here at yellow.
And you can see that alarm bot. G2 are playing around that. It's a key to their decision making here. Sodhawk making a lot of noise on A, and Cowanzine did break it. It's going to trigger these mollies as well.
But no opportunity for Icy to play off contact. Cowanzine now wants to creep up.
Now hearing a lot of footsteps. Our G2, Icy with the first. Leaf swings out top as well. Great timings.
Never check it. Icy here. Able to reposition comfortably. Loud whittled down to 3. Do have less they can activate for a late flank through mid, but he'll have to watch out for Valent, who has a similar idea. Timing though. Les is actually up in tube. Something Valent is not prepared for.
Left.
And there is an opportunity for Les here to descend. Here's that drop. There is a turret that takes contact here, so he is revealed. Twice. Easy pickings for Trent. Now 2 left for Loud. Making the way up past yellow. They're quite advanced in their positioning, but Valent made that flank through under tube.
At least not going to get bonused out of this game. G2 had everything on the line in that round, of course. Their entire economy. hung in the balance, winning that one out. With some kills as well in that round, Valen has gotten his Reckoning online. 2 is similarly the Harbor for Loud, Reckoning online as well. Could certainly see those exchanged here. And another little small note I'm looking at is Cowanzine. He's 1 off of his Hunter's Fury. We'll see if they try to play for this Aor where they're gathered up right now, have that key ultimate online for a post plant.
Oh, they've picked a lightly held site here. Can G2 hold them off? Is that high tide? Okay, this is definitely going to force a full retake setup here for G2. They do, of course, have the Dizzy to play off of once Icy gets here, but he's a long way from the action.
Now getting close is QCK. They're using this wall to their advantage to really dig deep into the site.
All right, counter Reckoning here. Coming out from G2. They're going to pick their mark. Try and approach here through screens where Cowanzine was waiting for Leaf. This is by no means a short things for the defenders.
Oh my God.
Jonah P is good though. He's having to drop down off rafters and Les has a tough time tangling with him. Up by 410. Wall renewed by the defenders now and Les doesn't know where to be looking. He gets a stay of execution and turns it into a kill. You can't let him get away with this every single
Get away with that. And how does Cowanzine is a robot in that moment? How does he break the wingman into the Dizzy and get the headshot? And it began to such a small little cerebral moment from him when that Reckoning came in from Valen. There was just that little corner, you can see it just slowly pacing to his left, but it didn't connect onto him. So he was able to get that first on Leaf. Didn't think anyone could be on that corner or one of those bolts would have rained down on his head. Cowanzine has just been phenomenal these past 2 weeks. Resurgence doesn't say enough about how much he's stepped up from the first half of the season into the second. Back to that elite level of play. One of the best initiators that we've got in the game at the moment. G2 taking a timeout. 1 away from this loss, 1 away from EG's hopes being dashed. Their playoff chances rest in the hands of G2 and Josh RT, the coach right now on this timeout. Loud 1 round away from getting themselves into that Omega Group top 3 and into the playoffs here. Continuing their chances at being able to make it to an international land for, I want to say, the 8th time in a row now.
How do they extract maximum value out of a potential lockdown? That's the question for G2. They're pretty well bought up. They've got it all to work with here. And they've got to lay it on the line. Their last chance here in stage 1 to do so. It's gonna have to be magic.
Gathered up outside AR Loud. Cowanzine with those kills has the Hunter's Fury ready to go. The 1 ultimate in play at the moment. And it's gonna be that deep recon in. Does get broken. Drone as well here. So a lot of presence being shown from Loud early. They're gonna have to contend with a full KJ setup when they get into the site here.
One of the players from Loud got lit on their way in and QCK lands awkwardly. Might have something to do with the bullets inside of him, but I digress. Hunter's Fury expended now. Louder up and on the site. There's going to be some hot and heavy fighting here up close as they try and push through this cove. Oh, Wingman sees it all! Beautiful setup. But Cowanzine is always there for 2. There's a thrash here for Icy though. That quick double has earned him that ultimate. The spike is so far away from Loud though. They're going to need to spelunk to recover it.
Here.
Les pings it. About the approximate location. Asking Cowanzine to try and light it up. G2 finds him. Now can Les do it again for the umpteenth time this series?
30 seconds to play with.
30 seconds left.
Many others I'd say it's not possible, but it's Les! That's 1. Now it's a straight swing. Icy's low. 5 HP left. That's all he's got to work with. And Les, the Angel of Death, does it again. Absolutely disgusting.
And Loud are back. MIBR couldn't do it. Furia couldn't do it. The hope of Brazil. Loud, as it always has been and seems to always will
Can't get rid of him, man.
be. They were down all season, but they're not out. They're in the hottest form they've been in so far this year. Headed into the playoffs next week, and it feels like now they have a legit chance at making it to Shanghai. continuing their streak of making it to every single international event, always being a contender, always fighting for the top spots. One of the most experienced IGLs in the game, one of the best that we've seen in Stadhawk, one of the best Flex players, Viper players, Sentinels that we've seen in the game, has been for years. What more can you say?
They've had to reinvent. They came into stage one awkwardly. The travel was uncomfortable. They still had those outdated Phoenix Breach compositions they had to pivot away from on really short notice, and it cost